With the gameplay trailer for the Halloween game being released this week, it has given many eager players the feeling of the now sunset Friday the 13th, the game. So what similarities do both games have, and is Halloween just a rehash of a once beloved game?
You can't kill the boogeyman.
Welcome to my channel, my name is Em, aka Horror, and in today's video I will be discussing the similarities between the Halloween and Friday the 13th game's multiplayer gameplay, and I will also be sharing my thoughts on what we have seen so far. If you haven't yet seen the gameplay trailer, it is certainly worth watching and I do recommend checking it out. Released on Wednesday, it gives us an insight into some of the game's features and what is in store for Michael and the heroes of the game. We learnt that Michael's aim is to kill as many people in one night that he possibly can, and this does include the NPCs, which is very interesting. The hero's aim is to stop Michael and warn as many characters as possible that Michael has come home. They are also able to call the police to get them onto the scene. So straight away in the trailer you see Illfonic's touch, and it does feel familiar and at home, resembling some similarities of the look and aesthetic of Friday the 13th. However, there is much more to the game's insight that has made people, including myself, think that this is going to be just Friday the 13th the game with a different skin. That doesn't necessarily mean that myself or other people think that it's going to be a bad game. It is just recognising something in what has been put forward to us. So first off, the aim of the game itself and its objectives are the same aim as most games of this type, which is survive or kill. Yes, this is a given when playing an asymmetrical horror game, but how they seem to be going around it for this game particularly feels slightly regurgitated. However, the addition of the NPCs, as mentioned before, is a nice touch, and it's not something that has been used before in games of this type. But the aim of the heroes is to call the police and put a stop to the events, which feels like this was sort of ripped out of the Friday the 13th game. With this, even the look of the characters feels like we have seen them before, and they don't really feel to me like they are from the same era as the 1978 movie. There is, in my opinion, more of an 80s look to them. Now, yes, there are still things to come and things which have not been revealed as of yet, but they haven't really shown enough to make it feel like Halloween is going to have its own individual stamp on it. Where we see the biggest similarities in both games, though, is when we look at Michael and Jason. There are a number of things that feel like Jason has just put on a different mask and has moved away from Camp Crystal Lake. The first noticeable similarity that I saw was in their demeanour. Michael has a similar stance to Jason with similar movements. It is worth noting that both characters in the games have been mocapped by different actors, with Kane Hodder motion capturing for Jason and Nick Castle, the OG Michael Myers, doing the same for Michael. So the similarities are mainly what has been done since the motion capturing took place. They have comparable movements, and even Michael's famous sitting stance feels familiar when you look at Jason's. It's not just the mannerisms that appear to be the same, however, as when we look at the abilities of Michael, again, they feel like they have been taken directly from Friday the 13th. Yes, some of these abilities are needed, however, the way that this has been done feels like a copy and paste job. The confirmed ability in the trailer was that Michael can use what they are calling shape jump, an ability to let Michael move around the map quicker and unnoticeable by other characters. We saw Jason have this type of ability in Friday the 13th the game with his shift ability. Whilst there have been slight tweaks in the ability for Michael, it is all too familiar and it feels very noticeable when you have a look at the trailer. Although other abilities have not been delved into in depth, during the trailer you can pick up on what abilities Michael will have, especially when they are talking about stalking characters. With a few moments showing Michael's stalkability, characters are highlighted with a red glow around them, and it's clear that Michael will use this to watch where his victims are so he can attack at the right moment, very similar to Jason's stalk ability. Now, yes, both games are developed by Illfonic, But just as the movies differ to each other, so should the games, which is something that is slightly concerning me at this point, as people do want something different to play than what they have had before. Michael Myers and the Halloween franchise are worth more than just being a copycat, especially as Halloween inspired so many other stories and movies, including Friday the 13th. However, saying this, there are others who are welcoming the Friday the 13th familiarity, as players truly miss what we had within the Friday the 13th game itself, and they do want to relive that. Of course, we have not had a full deep delve into the gameplay, and this is only a taster of what will be in the final product. It is worth noting that we will also have a single player mode, which may offer something we have not seen. I'm not writing the game off or saying that these aspects are necessarily going to be negative. This is all based on the insight we have had so far, and it's my interpretation of it. I have also done a video on how this game will be different, which I have linked here for you if you have not yet seen it but would like to check it out. I am still excited to play the game and to see where it goes from here, and I do hope that it will have a lot of playability and is received well, despite my concerns. So as always, what do you guys think? Do you think the Halloween game is going to be Friday the 13th the game 2.0? Let me know down in the comments section. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and switch on that notifications button, as I will be uploading more content like this. Thank you so much for watching. You can check out my other content here. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.